welcome back into the Lions virtual draft party presented by Miller Lite. I'm Tori Petry. We are going to get into talking about the Lions' #3 selection in this draft, cornerback Jeff Okudah out of Ohio State. Hopefully you joined us before the draft for our pre-draft virtual party. Now we are in the draft and we're going to break down that pick. But first, let's take a look at some of Lions fans' reaction to the Lions selecting Okudah. Looks like a lot of excitement there. That was from the Rocket Mortgage house party. A bunch of Lions fans hanging out together virtually, watching this draft and reacting to the Lions selecting Okudah with the 3rd pick. But let's get into talking about it. We are bringing in TJ Lang to talk about this pick and talk about what the draft has been like tonight. TJ, thank you so much for joining us once again. We saw you earlier in the night with Matthew Stafford. We appreciate you joining us again.
Good to see you, Tori. I'm excited, just like those Lions fans in the video. I thought that's awesome, incorporating some of the faithful Detroit natives into that video. Awesome. Great night for the Detroit Lions so far.
Yeah, you know what I like that you came branded with your Miller Lite shirt there. You know what it's all about here at the Miller Lite virtual draft party. Perfect attire choice there. We saw the Lions fans' reaction to the pick, but I want to get your reaction. What did you think of the Lions taking Okudah?
Listen, you not only filled one of the biggest positions that of need, but you filled it with the best player left on the board. And I think a lot when you think about Chase Young being the top of his position in the draft, and then a big gap between him and the next guy. It's the same thing with Jeff Okudah and the next cornerbacks in the class. I think Jeff Okudah really stands out, just head and shoulders above any other prospect you can ask for. He plays a lot of man-to-man in college, exactly what the Detroit Lions played more man-to-man coverage in the NFL than any other team, pretty much by a long shot. So I think he's a guy that's ready to come in day one, make a huge impact. Playmaker, ball hawk, not afraid to tackle. You go look at the first play of that playoff game against Clemson. The first play that Clemson had the ball, they ran a little option to the running back, Jeff Okudah, shed a block and absolutely laid a thunderous hit on the running back, which tells you he's a dog. That's what I want in my cornerback. I want a dog. I want a dude that's not afraid to tackle, not afraid to hit, not afraid to get in the piles. I think they got their guy that they've been targeting for a couple months now, and I'm really excited about it. I think he's got a great opportunity to come in and make a huge impact for this team.
Yeah, not necessarily a flashy pick because it was what so many mock drafts predicted heading into this draft. Another thing that was predicted was a trade. Obviously, we know that did not happen. The Miami Dolphins were one of those teams in the conversation. They ended up taking the quarterback. They wanted Tua Tagovailoa at pick #5, so they did not need to make a deal with the Lions to move up to the #3 pick. Did it surprise you at all that the Lions didn't work out a trade?
No, I don't think it did, only because you look at the reports and some sources coming out the last couple of days. I don't think Miami wanted to give up their 5th pick. I think they wanted to, if they were going to trade up to #3, I think they wanted 2 impact players in the top 5. So I think the trade market probably weakened a little bit today, which we saw with not only Detroit, but the Giants as well. I know there was a lot of reports about them trying to move down. Weren't able to do it. You know, they took an offensive tackle out of Georgia, great player, going to help the franchise, but it just didn't seem like the trade market was there. And I know we heard Bob Quinn talk about it earlier in the week that, you know, they were open to a trade, but they didn't want to move down to 15, 20, 25. They wanted to get one of the special players, a top 5 guy in this draft class that's going to help your team out for a long time and has the potential to be an all-pro, a perennial all-pro player.
A lot of picks that were predicted much earlier in this year happened tonight, including at the 1-2 positions. Those were pretty much locked in. We saw Joe Burrow go #1, Chase Young go #2. And then, of course, Jeff Okudah has been very much predicted for the Lions, whether it was at 3, whether it was at 5, but there was very much a connection there. So while it might have been something that was expected, I think you can say it still fits a very big need for this team. and is going to be an impact player. Did you think anything else in the draft surprised you? What did you make of how things were done tonight in the draft?
I think my biggest surprise is that there haven't been any glitches or hacks yet, to be honest with you. I think
Yeah.
the fact that, the NFL has put on this presentation, although it's different than what we've been used to, really without any hiccups, I think has been very, very impressive. I think it's been a little bit less, not as many fireworks as maybe I thought coming in. Earlier the last couple of days, you saw maybe Washington was thinking about trading out of two. How was that going to impact Detroit at three? Maybe Detroit was going to trade. Maybe Jacksonville, Miami, the Chargers were teams that were going to try to trade up. But we didn't see a lot of those fireworks. But outside of that, I'm pretty impressed with the display so far, with the NFL, with the coaches, with the GMs. Although the one thing I am disappointed in is you think about a lot of these coaches and GMs. Not a lot of them have a lot of home offices. A lot of them look like they're sitting in a kitchen somewhere or hotel room, which kind of tells you how much time these guys actually spend at the facility. They almost live there. So, but other than that, I think it's been flawless. I congratulate the NFL on doing a tremendous job so far.
Well, what you saw there as TJ was talking was a look into Bob Quinn's home office as well as Matt Patricia's home office. We had those live cameras from the league showing what was happening in their rooms as this whole draft process was unfolding. Another thing that we got to do tonight was talk with Jeff Okudah, albeit virtually. So we'll let you guys take a look at my chat with cornerback Jeff Okudah. Hold on just a second. Draft pick. So we are bringing in the Lions' number 3 pick tonight, Jeff Okudah out of Ohio State. Jeff, it is so nice to meet you virtually here. How does it feel to be a Detroit Lion?
Feels great. I feel blessed beyond belief. Being in the NFL has always been a lifelong dream. So now that I'm here, I'm just really excited to get to work.
Walk me through the emotions that happened tonight as you were watching the draft with your family and waiting to hear on that pick.
So it was just sitting down, uh, watching the pick is in, and then once you get the call, it's like I'm really about to start this new journey, and I'm really excited. I can't explain how excited I am.
Has it sunk in yet, or are you just still kind of taking it in?
I'm waiting to just get alone so I can just sit there and just think about it and think about how crazy today's been.
I understand. Who were you able to share that moment with in your home tonight?
I was with my aunt, my sister, my uncle, my 2 cousins, and my trainer.
Well, I know it had to be very different because you were doing it virtually, not in Las Vegas like we all expected. What was that process like, having to kind of get that call and done virtually instead of being at a big draft event?
It was still cool to me. I mean, it's my first draft, so just like going through it, I just took it as a blessing because not a lot of guys are in the position that I'm in right now. So just looking at it like that with a positive outlook, I think that was really beneficial to going through this process.
I know a lot of guys will talk about they kind of expected to go to the team that they went to, or maybe they didn't expect to go to that team. Where were you at with that? Did you expect the Lions to call your name at number 3?
I didn't. I was just I kind of went into the draft with an open mind, and I spoke to God. I said, wherever you send me, I want to give that franchise my all. So thinking about it like that, um, it just kind of helped me keep my head straight.
What were your conversations like with the Lions in the pre-draft process leading up to tonight?
Just kind of wanted to see what kind of person that I am, not necessarily as a player, but just know what kind of person I am. How do I conduct myself? And we just went from there.
Well, I'm curious, what kind of person and player are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what the Lions are getting in Jeff Okudah.
I'm just gonna go to work hard, try to earn the respect of my teammates, and see what we can build in Detroit.
What's the strong point of your game, do you feel like?
Play with a lot of confidence. So just going out there, playing with confidence, and having fun.
Well, we are certainly looking forward to seeing you out on the field. One last question for you here, Jeff. I think a lot of people have read that Players Tribune piece about your mother during your time at Ohio State. I know you wish that she could be there with you tonight. What would you think that she would say to you if she could see what has happened?
I think she'd be in tears just seeing how the journey has taken us to where she had a chemotherapy, financial struggles, and now it's like her son was third overall pick. So I think that if she was here, she'd be really, really, really grateful that we were blessed like this.
I'm sure she was there with you in spirit. Did you have that bracelet on for her tonight?
Actually, I didn't because it wouldn't have been visible. So I'm about to take off this watch and put on the bracelet as soon as I get out of here.
I'm sure you were looking forward to kind of having that quiet moment thinking about your mom. I know she would be proud of you tonight, Jeff. We are so looking forward to getting you here in Detroit and getting to know you a little bit better. Congratulations on your night.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, that's all we need. Catching up with the draft picks is always one of my favorite parts of draft night. I know it looks different this year. Usually I'd be chasing a guy down backstage in Las Vegas, but tonight we were connecting online, but we still got to get to know him nonetheless. Another part of my favorite things about draft night is getting to see the GM and the head coach make that call to the player and telling him he will become a Detroit Lion. We usually get that video from the war room, but of course, everybody has their home war rooms happening tonight. So instead of having our video inside of the war room, we're kind of getting a little bit of video from them. So let's take a look at Bob Quinn calling Jeff Okudah to tell him he's going to be a Lion.
Draft about to start right now, really.
Yeah. It's about to start. Predictable, yeah. So the 2020 NFL draft starts. There it is. There it is.
Jeff.
There it is.
Hey, Bob Quinn from the Detroit Lions. How you doing?
I'm doing
There
good.
it is.
Where you out with your family?
Yeah, I got my family with me right now.
Okay. Well, listen. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna conference in Coach Patricia.
Yes,
Right. We'll get something to tell you.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. Coach Patricia. I have Jeff Okudah here, and Jeff, welcome to the Lions. We just made you the 3rd overall pick in the draft.
Thank you so much, Coach. I'm blessed. I feel blessed right now. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jeff, you know, in the entire process, you've done everything right. So can't wait to get you up here whenever that is. And, you know, we're going to let you go celebrate here with your family right now for a little bit. And then obviously just keep your cell phone close. You know, another person from our team will be calling you. A couple of the coaches will be calling you. And our PR director will be calling you as well. We're going to send this into the league here in about another minute or so and make it official. But welcome to the Lions.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Coach.
Okay? All right, man. All right, man. All right, take care. Yep, see ya.
Yeah. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So that means we are at pick number 3. That's the Detroit Lions. There you see Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia.
With the 3rd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Jeff Okudah, defensive back, Ohio State.
And there you see the reaction in Grand Prairie, Texas, where Jeff Okudah is from. The cornerback goes off the board. Here's what's really interesting. The top 3 picks in this draft, at one time or another, all played at Ohio State University. Taking a look at Jeff Okudah and everything that he's done. He was the #1 cornerback in the ESPN class of 2017. His mother died 6 days after his first day on campus as an early entrant at Ohio State in January of 2017. He wears a bracelet for his mother, Maria Okudah, in her memory, and wrote a really heartfelt letter to her after she had passed away, saying all the things that she had meant to him and helped him along the way. And now Jeff Okudah, by the way, also was an academic star at Ohio State, carrying a GPA of 3.0. Jeff, we thought this would be the #1 corner off the board. We've gone chalk. What do you like most about what you see in Okudah's game?
Well, Trey, I see the size and the length in somebody that is outstanding in press coverage. He wants to play physical at the line of scrimmage. We saw him do it against some of the best wide receivers in this year's draft class. He's got the fluidity to be able to open up. He can drive on the football. He can find and play the football. So I thought he was the most complete cornerback in this year's draft class, and I honestly did not think it was very close. The Detroit Lions have to get better against the pass, and this was the best option for them to get that done.
Mel, what do you like about him?
Well, you look at him and you got a complete corner, a guy that will tackle. That's so important in this league now with the short passes, come up and make the tackle on those elusive receivers. And in the run game, Jeff Okudah is a very confident corner, doesn't get called for penalties. He understands how to break up a pass and not draw the flag, and that's critical in the National Football League. I think Derek Brown, defensive tackle Auburn, was tempting for the Detroit Lions, but you got Darius Slay moving on. You need that lockdown corner, and that's what Jeff Okudah will be expected to be. He'll be hoped to be Stephon Gilmore with the Detroit Lions.
There you see a very happy Matt Patricia, the head coach. And by the way, this is the 6th time in 7 years the Buckeyes have a cornerback taken in the first round of the draft. And there you see Bob Quinn also very, very happy. And we have a theme for the first 3 draft picks of 2020. Burrow, Chase Young, and Okudah, all teammates at Ohio State in 2017. And the first 3 picks off the board in the draft in 2020. We're just getting started.
Gosh, I just love that. I love seeing the family reactions there when they get that phone call. I love hearing the phone call, Bob Quinn welcoming him to his new team. Obviously, it looks a little bit different this year, but still really cool to see. We'll bring TJ back in here to chat a little bit more about the pick before we let you guys go. One of my favorite things about this call was seeing all the family around. I mean, even Bob Quinn had his kids in the background. Matt Patricia's fist pumping his son. It's cool to see all the family involvement in a draft night like this, right, TJ?
Absolutely. I think when you look at what these guys have had to go through, look, a lot of these guys, Jeff Okudah involved, are supposed to be in Vegas right now, walking the red carpet, taking all these pictures. But when it really comes down to it, you want to be with the people who matter the most to you. And I think that's one thing that, like we talked about earlier today, was one thing that I cherished, being around my family, being around my parents. I didn't care for, the big circus that came with getting drafted. I just wanted to be with the people who meant most to me, that helped me get to this spot in my life. And Jeff Okudah, I mean, what a great story see him with his dad. Obviously, tragic story about his mom, but just great for him to spend the time with his family. It's definitely a moment that he'll never forget.
Certainly, no matter what it looked like, even if it was virtual. Now things will definitely start to look a little bit different virtually here as he starts to learn his new team. The first phase of the Lions offseason program is all going to be virtual, and that starts the Monday after the draft, which I'm sure he will be included in. What do you see some of the challenges being of these rookies learning their new teams virtually?
Well, with the cornerback position, a lot of it's about chemistry, just like the offensive line. I think you can stare at the playbook for 20 hours a day. You can know what you're doing, but until you get in the building, until you get on the practice field with your teammates, you understand the lingo that these guys are using, the different calls, the different checks, what they're reading from the quarterback, the receivers. A lot of that stuff happens so fast, and that only comes through repetition. So look, it's going to be great for these guys to get a chance to at least dive into the playbook, get to know the coaches a little bit, maybe talk to the teammates. But it's definitely going to be a challenge for a lot of rookies to come in this year, hit the practice field whenever the season does start, whenever training camp does start. to hit the field full speed going. It's going to be a learning curve. There's going to have to be a lot of patience with these guys because they don't have the offseason. They don't have the OTAs. They don't have the mini camps to get acquainted with the speed of the game, with the strength that comes with the guys you're playing against. So, look, I asked for people to be a little bit patient with all the rookies this year. But Jeff Okudah is certainly a guy that can come in with the skills that he already has, the system that he's already played in. He's ready to come in and be an impact player right away. So I think as soon as he gets the playbook down, with the coaches throughout the next couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever it is, the better equipped he'll be to come in. And whenever the season does start, he'll make an impact right away.
Well, you guys have been seeing some tweets scrolling on the screen. Guys congratulating Jeff Okudah for being selected to the Lions. One of those guys being LeBron James, tweeting about Okudah ending up on the Lions. He was very proud of this Ohio State product. TJ, I'm curious, do you ever have anybody like LeBron James congratulating you for being drafted?
Tori, I was an offensive lineman. No. You don't get a lot of congratulatory tweets or texts, especially back in 2009 when I think social media was pretty new. But no, as a fourth round guy, no, I did not. I got a hug from my mom and dad and my cousin Josh and friend Adam, and that was about it.
Yeah, well, LeBron says, congratulations, Lil Bro. I mean, to be called that by LeBron, that's pretty big compliment. Obviously, LeBron has those Ohio connections, and Jeff Okudah went to Ohio State. He says Detroit's getting a straight-up dog, and I think that you said the same thing as well, TJ. Another thing that you mentioned was that Okudah is really good at playing man-to-man. So when he finally gets to join up with this defense and play with them, how do you see him fitting into what Patricia wants to do?
Look, I think this defense is designed around coverage. I think when you look at what Coach Patricia has done in his history, not only with Detroit, but the New England Patriots, they've never really had a premier pass rushing type of guy. They've never had a Hall of Fame type edge guy coming off and getting 20 sacks a season. I think the whole thing is designed around the coverage. I think it's designed around confusing quarterbacks. It's designed around, we're going to double this guy. We're going to single this guy. The next snap, we're going to single this guy, double the other guy. So a lot of it is based off the coverage. And I think when you have Jeff Okudah, you have a lot of options. You can put him on a number one receiver and lock him down, or you can put him on a number two receiver and double cover the opposing team's number one guy.
All right. Well, TJ, thank you so much for your insight, for jumping on this draft show, this virtual party presented by Miller Lite. We appreciate you providing us with all of your expertise and for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks so much.
I never thought I'd be an expertise on secondary play, but I really like what the Detroit Lions got, and I think the fans will be really happy with Jeff Okudah.
Well, we will take it. I think you've given us a lot of great stuff on him. At least you're an expert on Miller Lite, according to your shirt there. Thank you so much for the branding call there. You guys have been seeing some of Jeff Okudah's highlights as we've been going through this virtual party. But actually, one of my favorite parts is seeing what the Lions video staff comes up with, the highlights that they put together. So as we sign off tonight from night one of the 2020 NFL Draft, we will leave you with the highlights from Jeff Okudah.
Jeff Okudah backs down from nobody. He's big enough to play the big guys, and he's fast enough and quick enough to play the small guys. There's very few holes in his game.
Watch me take control.
Off a play action, that pass is intercepted by Jeff Okudah.
Talking about one of the top corners, if not the top corner in the entire country.
That ball broken up by guess who? Jeff Okudah.
Watch me take control.
Okudah came across and picked it off. It's a first down play. Martinez for the pocket. Looped it over the head, and it's intercepted. Picked off the hands of Robinson, and Okudah's got his second pick tonight.
He's complete. He's physical. He'll run. He'll do everything you ask for him to do, and he tackles well too.
Yeah.
Watch me take control.
Jeff Okudah, who they feel is a top 5 pick.
Ooh, that guy can play football.